Welcome back, Strong Lungs fans. It's time for another episode. And guess what? Where is your boy tonight? I hope he's not a Kraken, So yeah, these Krakens. I want to tell you their names first before I tell you how the episode opens. The yellow one's name is Tress. The pink one's name is Kersey. Well, actually 3 are males, and that would be Tress, the yellow one. The red one's name is Snake, and the light blue one is named Sock. Yeah, the light blue one. And then we got the females. The pink one is Kersey, the dark blue one is Marta, and the white one is Susan. The black one's name is Cruella, and the orange one's name is Susie, and the gray one's name is Silver, and the purple one's name is Riley, and the green one's name is Nympha. Yeah, Nympha, you get it? She's actually the leader. This episode opens with Fango coming. This is where he gets told he's watching TV with his friends at home, and then then Hacker tells Fango that the dream gate opened. And he says, Fango, well, first he hears the doorbell ring. Fango goes to the door and says, "Hey, guy," he says, "I'll get it." And then he says, "Oh, hey, Hacker, did the dream gate open?" Hacker says, "I'm afraid so." He says, "Okay, don't worry." He says, "I'll be back, guys. There's a Lunerboonie problem going on." And then he goes outside. He says, "Where's the situation taking place this time?" The Lunerboonies crash land at sea right next to Semi-Truck City. He says, "Oh, dang, really?" He says, "Yup." He says, "Oh, dang." That's when he gets in his mecha suit and he says, "It's time to fight me, Lunerboonies," in Semi-Truck City. And that's when we cut to Semi-Truck City. Oh, yeah, and this one is, sorry if you thought I wasn't talking, because since I wasn't talking, I'm sorry if you thought the video was buffering. It's not buffering. I just stopped talking as I was showing you the picture of Semi-Truck City. But yes, anyway, yeah. Now this one's a colorful one. You can see there's also meant to be another tower that I haven't added. There's also a landmark, like one of Semi-Truck City's landmarks, Lincoln the Elephant, which is a parody of Lucy the Elephant. Now, the reason why I did a parody of Lucy the Elephant, because I thought maybe Lucy the Elephant was an actual copyright, so I didn't want to, put her in my show, so that's why I just made up my own version of her, like a male version, and that was Lincoln the Elephant. So yeah, we cut to Semi-Truck City, and we cut to a random truck driver driving on the freeway, like the one next to the harbor and the ocean. There's a lighthouse, and then we cut to him. We cut to him in his truck. Yeah, we cut to the truck that he's driving, then we cut to him in his truck, and then we don't see anything yet. He says, "Today sure is a nice day." Or let's just say he doesn't say. Or let's say before we cut to the truck. Let's say that we cut to the cars on the freeway. That's when we cut to the harbor. That's that we see that the harbor, we see the ships and the cranes working. And that's when then after we cut through Semi-Truck City. The only thing we don't show is Lincoln the Elephant or the left turn signal or towers. And that's when we see that. We see people just minding their own business, and then we cut to people minding their own business in Semi-Truck City. And then that's when we cut to the water right next to Semi-Truck City, and then we see the Kraken's fins, because they're part shark, part whale, and part octopus. And that's when we cut to, and then we see them, and as they're getting closer, they go underwater. We see their bubbles heading towards the shore. And that's when we cut to Fango, getting near the city limit. He says, "I gotta make it quick." He says, "I can literally detect the Lunerboonies, they're on my robot's radar. Or it's also a sonar. It's like part sonar, part radar. And he doesn't mention the Kraken. He just notices they're Lunerboonies. He says, I can tell there's the Lunerboonies and they're underwater. I gotta get to them quick before they get there. He says, good thing I'm already outside the city limit. And that's when we cut, or let's say we don't even cut to Fango. Let's just say after we cut to the Lunerboonies, like the fins, like the Kraken's fins, and then they go underwater once they get too close, and then we cut to the, like, a view of Semi-Truck City, but also, like, the ocean, but we also show the Krakens getting near the shore. And then that's when we cut to a random truck driver. And then that's when we see, and we're just looking, and then we're in his truck, and then he's, like, saying, ah, what a nice day. It sure is. Or he doesn't say anything. Well, let's just say he just says nothing. Sorry, like I said, he just says nothing. He's just like, we just cut to him, then we just cut to the front, like pointing towards his truck, and then we cut. And then the camera angle goes inside his truck as he's driving. And then we just see, it's kind of like pointing, like you see him and outside, you just see him on the left, and then you see outside his windshield. And then that's when you see a big tsunami come out of nowhere. It goes like, and that's when he's going, and then that's when we see a tsunami go like come out of nowhere. This big wave shows him and goes like and gets him, and he's like, and he hits the brakes. It's like, whoa! And then and everyone's like, ah! And it knocks all the cars and trucks off the bridge. And we see that the lighthouse, like their lighthouse, gets knocked over by the tsunami. And then that's when everyone's like, what was that? And then Fango, and that's when we cut to Fango entering the city limit. He's like, whoa! He notices the tsunami too. He's like, what the heck was that? And then that's when we see the Krakens come out of the water. And we see like a few like boats, like right above, like they come out of the water and throw like a few of the watercrafts into the air. You know, like including lots of ships, and there was also submarines. You know, along with that. Like, all of them emerges from the water, and they roar like this. And everybody says, watch out! And then the strong lung says, one strong lung says, what the heck are those things? And they're just shocked when they see all the Krakens. The first one who attacks is, of course, well, yeah, let's say that one of the males attacks first, and that's Tress, and people are like, holy cow! Says, let's get out of here! And that's when we see Kersey, the pink one, attack. Yeah, they start wrecking things, and we see them destroy the freeway, and then that's when we see them destroy the harbor in the same, like, view, like, same camera angle and point of view we saw it when we cut to it before the attack, and then we see them sink the ship and knock over the cranes. And then we see them, and they're just, like, on a complete rampage, and then the military shows up, shooting them, and then like three of them, that's when we see like three of them. Let's say it was like Snick, the red one, and Marta, the dark blue one, and Silver, the gray one. They go like, each one's tentacles goes like, or maybe let's say it's like their arms on their body and go like, but also their tentacles gets them. Yeah. Well, let's say it only shows the tanks, and then and we see like a few of the other like cars, trucks getting like knocked around. We see like we see a Humvee attacking them, and then we see them grab the Humvee. Let's say that let's say that the orange one grabs the Humvee and throws it behind her, and she throws it into the water when we just have shown like it's like we see it just fly into the water. We don't see it like land in the water. It's like just a small like Humvee, like a Jeep that gets thrown in. All the other ones just gets knocked to the side, or let's say, yeah, and we see and then Fango shows up like, you're, oh my gosh, that's when we see the child Kraken sock like get ready to attack some children. Let's say it was Mercy the marshmallow and Steve the spider. He's a teenager though, and we see Stinky the robot, he's not Stanky really, that's just his name. Just because his name is Stinky doesn't mean he stinks, you know. And also it's who else is a kid? Let's say maybe let's say oh right. Let's say it was let's say it's it's let me figure out his name. It's his name is Reuben. Let's say that it's the diamond. Or a rhombus. He's a light blue. And let's say his name is Reuben. He's a child too, and he's like, watch out. Or let's say it's Parker the arrow, and he's like saying, holy cow, watch out. And then Sock attacks. Well, he doesn't attack. He tries to attack, but then Fango, yeah, he tried to attack some children, but it's like children being saved from a robot. He goes like, ugh. And then, so, yeah, like I was saying, Fango shows up and punches Sock with both of his fists of his mecha suit. This mecha suit's actually another Cyclops robot, but it doesn't have a pupil like his other one did. Like the one he used to fight the Ghost Fairy and Chocolate Mermaids. He actually punches like Sock with both fists. He's like, not so fast! Or he doesn't really say that, he just stops. He says, let's say he just says, he punches Sock and he says, not so! He says, you leave those kids alone! And then that's when we see Snick scream. He's saying, not Snick, Sock. His name's Sock. We see Sock and his child scream. It's not like loud and echoey, even though he's a giant Kraken. He doesn't. His sound just sound. His sound just sounds like a normal like volume sound. It's not loud and echoey like as you would think. It's just like a normal sound. Like it's just normal like pitch. Well, not normal. It's just his normal sound. It's not echoey. It's just like normal volume. Like the same volume like if you just like talk, but you're just in your normal size. It's like a normal sized voice. It's not like a giant's voice. He just gets pushed and then he gets hurt. And that's when we see Link and the elephant get destroyed. That's when you see Link and the elephant, but unfortunately you have to see him get destroyed by Sock. And that's when we see, not only do we see that, we see Sock destroy. He gets pushed and he also smashes through he knocks over the left turn signal water tower of Semi-Truck City, but not only does he knock it over, it falls onto a cell tower, because the water tower falls onto a cell tower, and once it hits the cell tower, that's when the cell tower falls onto the water tower that just fell over, falls right across it. And that's when we see Snick. And then we see he's still bouncing. He also smashes through another freeway in Semi-Truck City. He also smashes through the power plant in Semi-Truck City as a power plant, and then we see him go, he also destroys a ship, and then we see him like badly injured. Well, not like badly injured. We see him injured, and then that's when then he starts crying. Because he's hurt, and he's only like a kid. He's like a 5-year-old. And then that's when we see, and after Fango did that, we see that the White Kraken, Susan, Susan, she gets mad. Let's say Susan and Snick is actually Sock's parents, and then Susan attacks first. But Fango defends himself before Susan could hurt him after hurting Sock. You know, it's kind of like a polar bear, or it's like a polar bear defending their cub. If you like you know, if you hurt or harass or like mess with their cub, they come after you and attack you. Something like that. Yeah. Speaking of polar bear, one of my strong lungs is a polar bear. But I mean, I know Susan's white like a polar bear, but she's a Kraken. But Fango defends himself before Susan could attack. He actually, let's say two of his friends shows up, like let's say two more, like let's say Spoony and Crawley has a mecha suit too, but they attack. Or let's say Fango. Well, let's say they don't really. Let's say it's just Fango in his mecha suit. He actually like punches her. He actually like shoots her with like rockets that comes out of the robot, like the part, like the rib bone, like, or whatever it's called. I wouldn't say the rib bone. It's actually the part where the shoulders are connected to the like the bone that comes from the shoulders to the neck part. Like, it's kind of like right there in that area. And they shoot her and she's like, ah! And then Snick tries to help and then tries to attack Fango, but Fango, like, we see chainsaws come out of the robot's like in between his fist knuckles, and then he scratch like three of them, or not three, but yeah, or let's say there was like three of them, and then he scratches and then he cuts Snick, and it's kind of like looks like a cat scratch. He cuts him like straight, like it's like a it's like a vertical cut. And he cuts him vertically, and he's ah! And we see he's like grabs his chest after Fango cuts him with the chainsaws. But it won't be like graphic gore or anything, just to let you know. It's fantasy violence. Remember, this is fantasy violence, not normal standard like adult type violence. It's it's fantasy violence. So the Lunerboonies are, because fantasy violence is like hurting or like murdering monsters, like you know, like aliens or monsters. Yeah, that's what fantasy violence is. We all know. Yeah. Now fantasy. Yeah, that's what fantasy violence is. It's like fantasy violence is like people injuring or killing monsters. It's not like any people or main character, or like any of the characters are getting injured or killed. It's only the monsters. I know you might think the Lunerboonies could probably not count as fantasy violence, but the truth is they're monsters. Well, like I said, maybe it would probably not be considered fantasy violence, since all the Lunerboonies are humanoid creatures and that are being killed by Fango. I know you might not really consider that, but I much rather it gets considered as fantasy violence, since they're just monsters being killed by Fango. So yeah. But yeah, anyway. That's when we see the other Krakens attack. Susie, she grabs Fango with her mouth, but Fango pokes her in the eyes with both of his hands, with both two of his, with his right hand with two fingers. He's like, he actually claws comes out, and let's say spikes comes out of the fingers, and he pokes her right in the eyes, and she's like, ah! But they don't bleed or anything. It just hurts her. It doesn't blind her either. Or let's say he doesn't like spikes, or doesn't really come out. He just pokes her in both eyes with both fingers when she bites him. He's like, ah! And then he grabs her neck, and then he does this. He just pounds his fist. And just pushes her against the ground, and then uses his right arm to his right hand to pound on her forehead, just like ow, ow, ow. And then that's when that's when Tress and Kersey attacks. Oh, and he sees them coming. He throws. Yeah, it's actually Susie who attacks. He uses, and then he throws Susie at them, and then goes like, whoa! And then he knocks them over. He says, "That's right." And that's when we see, like Marta and Cruella and Riley jump onto Fango, but he just breaks, and they jump onto his back, but we don't like cut to him on the ground. We just stay in the same point of view. He just comes off screen for a moment, but then we just see the Krakens attacking him. But then we see them, and he just comes up like wah! His arms goes like bah! And then he throws all three of them into the air, and that's when the leader tries to attack, but Fango, she goes like, rah! But then Fango uses the Cyclops eye is actually a laser eye, goes like, and she goes like, ah! She attacks, and then the military helps, and we see that Silver's being attacked by some attack helicopters, and then we see Susie defend. We see her defend Silver, and then she just knocks the helicopter into the clock tower of Semi-Truck City, and then it falls over. It hits, and then it falls, and then Fango grabs it and he tries to hit, spare her with it. Then she just punches, or let's say it just falls. Fango doesn't grab. Let's say it just hits the clock tower, and then the clock tower falls. and then that's when we see the fighter jets attacking. We see that Sock, the child Kraken, who's light blue. He tries to fight. He sees that Fango. He jumps on. He bites Fango's leg, damaging, and he cuts holes and opens in his mega. So he's like, ah! As he's trying to as he's attacking Susie and Silver, and then he's like, and then he grabs, and that's when the fighter jets tries to help him. He's like, ugh, ugh, and then that's when we see and that's when we see Sock get injured again, and that's when we see White. She's like, and then Sock cries again, and then that's when we see Susan punch, and she's actually right next to him, and she gasps when she sees the fighter jets, and then because once the fighter jet saves Fango, and then that's when and then the missiles hit Sock, and then it upset, and then it makes, and then Snick and then Susan, and then Susan and Snick, they get mad again, but not at Fango. This time they get mad at the fighter jets, and then White does a spin attack. She spins and then knocks the fighter jet, and then she hits the fighter jets, and one of them, and the one she hits, and then the one she's hitting, the one she hits actually gets thrown at the yellow tower in Semi-Truck City. Yeah, we could call it Goldstone Tower since it's yellow. Yeah. I know Semi-Truck Tower is, maybe we could call that one Semi-Truck Tower. Let's call that one Semi-Truck Tower. And it hits Semi-Truck Tower, it's Semi-Truck City's main tower, and then the tower gets hit by the fighter jet. Once the airplane hits the tower starts to, like, the tower couldn't handle, like, the support of the tower couldn't handle the impact, and then the tower starts to fall. Let's say, well, actually, this one, the tower was actually meant to crush a dome cathedral and a clock tower. So let's say that maybe Susie knocked a helicopter into a church. Let's say she knocked the attack helicopter into a cathedral, but not a dome type. Let's say, or like she knocked it into a church. And then that's when the tower that got hit by the fighter jet falls, and everybody says, "Look out!" Fango realizes there's trouble. Let's say this tower also knocks over a left turn signal water tower, since it was tall enough to actually knock over, like, other towers, and goes like, ah! And then first it crushes a clock tower and we see it, like, crush a non-dome cathedral, and that's when we see it crush a cathedral, like, that's when we see it, like, a dome type cathedral. We see it crush a dome cathedral and a non-dome cathedral. It actually crushes, like, the non-dome cathedral first, and that's when it crushes the cathedral with a dome, which also has a clock tower next to it, and that's when the clock tower also gets crushed. And that's when it hits the left turn signal water tower, another one of Semi-Truck City's left turn signal water towers. This one was actually a hydro pillar left turn signal water tower. Also had a cell tower next to it, but let's say the semi-truck tower also knocked over that one, like, and then, but let's say the one that the cell tower falls, just falls the same direction the water tower falls. Or let's say it just or let's say it falls like a different direction. Let's say it falls like the direction away from the water tower. Let's say it falls to the left away from the water tower, and then everybody runs. Let's say the water tower actually crushes a tanker truck and causes an explosion, and then let's say it also crushes a gas station. Let's say the cell tower crushes the gas station, the water tower crushes a tanker truck. Let's say there was also, or let's say a fire, let's say it actually crushed a few cars that were in its way, or let's say a fire truck, once the water tower fell, a fire truck crashes into it. Let's say the water tower falls in the street and then a fire truck crashes into it, and then the cell tower crushes, lands on the gas station and causes an explosion. Let's say there was a tanker truck under, in the gas station, and then that's when the explosion happened, and Fango's like, ugh, jeez. He says, you know what? He says, and that's when he realizes what Susan has done. He realized what Susan did. He says, ugh. That's when we see him give Susan a knuckle sandwich. She's like, ugh. Mm-hmm. And that's when she stops spinning. And then we cut to Susan's point of view and then she turns towards Fango. We cut to Susan's point of view, and then then Fango gives her a knuckle sandwich, and that's when we see Fango's fist hit. Not only hit, when he gives Susan the knuckle sandwich, it's since it's in Susan's point of view, the Fango's mecha suit's fist blacks, kind of you know how if something gets too close to the camera, it turns to a black screen. Let's say he's like, ah! Something like that. That's actually a great idea, but then the camera angle changes to Susan she gets hit, she's like, ah! And then she falls back. and crushes a few other buildings. She's like, ugh, ugh, gives her a black eye, which makes Snick mad. Snick tries to attack, but Fango, like, let's say Fango kicked him under the belt. He does like karate kick. He does a karate kick. Like, ugh, and he actually kicks Snick under the belt line. Like, saying that's actually, yeah, he kicked him in the most sensitive area, just like the gremlin, the yellow gremlin. It's like, ah, and then Snick falls like, ah, and then he just falls over. He actually falls to the side. Yeah, he kicked the gremlin in that exact same area. That's what I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, but thank goodness it's complete. At least maybe this might make the show a different rating. I'm trying to make it be TVY7, but if it's showing Fango kicking a Kraken, like kicking a male Kraken under the belt line like that, it might actually either be a higher rating. Let's just hope it doesn't. Well, let's just hope it's TV PG and not TV 14. I mean, of course it's covered. It's always going to be covered and we're not going to see it like sticking out. Of course. Well, yeah, he's like always wearing it. It's always going to be covered. He just kicks him in that area. Like, the truth is, Fango just kicks him in that area. But the good thing is, he doesn't mention it. So the only way how to keep it like more kid friendly is that he doesn't mention what the part is. He just doesn't mention he kicks him under the belt line, and he just, I know you should never, yeah. And just like what Hank said, I don't want to have to mention another show because I'm afraid I might get copyright, but yeah, he says don't ever kick anyone under the belt line. Unfortunately, Fango had no other choice. Although Fango only Fango could kick, but unfortunately Fango had to do it. Sometimes it's the right place to kick. It's like if somebody's like trying to mangle you or attack you. And most of all, if someone big is destroying the city and you got a giant mecha suit that you're fighting them with. Yeah, Fango kicks him down there, Snick gets kicked, and then he falls. The good thing, yeah. But we all must keep their clothes on. Because, yeah, I mean, of course he's going to have his clothes on. That's what keeps the show more clean, is that he's at least still has his clothes on. He just keeps his clothes completely on. Even though he's got an exposing midriff. I mean, that's not the vulgar thing about it. The midriff's completely okay to show off. He just needs, like, the other clothes on, But yeah, let's just stop talking about this part because I'm sure someone's probably getting uncomfortable hearing it. I'm sorry for making whoever is feeling uncomfortable hearing it. And then that's when we see, and then they fight, and then Tress, the yellow Kraken, the yellow ones should have cut back to the Krakens, but yeah. So let's say he actually pushed. Sorry, I was on Semi Truck City for so long, but yeah, at least like Tress, he pushes Fango into downtown Semi Truck City, and then that's when he tries to knock the big pink tower on. And then and that's when we see Snick and that's when, or let's say that's when we see Riley and Susie push Fango into the downtown Semi Truck City, and that's when we see Susan and Susie and Cruella. Let's say they attacked Fango and pushed them into Semi Truck City, and that's when we see Tress and Snick. That's when we see them having a naughty plan. That's when we see they're trying to crush Fango with the pink tower in Semi Truck City. I don't know what this tower should be called. I'm not exactly sure, but maybe we should call it the pink. Maybe we could call it Pink Stone Tower, since it's pink. Or should we call it maybe the red one should be called Redstone Tower. Yeah, the red building, but they're pushing over the pink building. Let's call it the great. We could call it the. We could just call it the semi truck. We could just call it the semi truck bank tower. Yeah, that's what the pink one's called, and they're trying to push it on to Fango and his mecha suit, but he moves out of the way, and then the Kraken tries to push him, but then he strangles the ones that are trying to get him crushed. He strangles them, and then he runs out, and then he throws them. But first he strangles all three of them, and then they choke like. Yeah, let's say Riley was maybe let's say Kersey was helping. Yeah, Kersey and Susan and Susie were trying to keep them underneath the tower, but Fango like sprints at them, and then he punches all three of them, and then they're the ones who ends up being crushed by the tower. He says Fango! Or let's say maybe it was Riley, or let's say it was Silver, maybe rather than Kersey, because maybe we shouldn't, because since she's pink and the tower's pink, I don't want like the same color, like crushing, like one color crushing the exact same color it is. So let's do like Susan, Susie, and Silver, and they all end up getting crushed. And although unfortunately they survived the impact, although they couldn't, but unfortunately the impact couldn't affect them. Okay, sorry, I was being distracted by my dog there, but it's okay. So yeah, they couldn't handle the impact, and it falls. The impact couldn't affect them, so they end up breaking their way out of the roof. They're like, ugh! And we see how mad they are at Fango for getting them crushed and endangering them like that. I wouldn't say he endangered them. He actually tried to defeat them. Hey, kitty. And then Fango says, "This isn't over yet." He says, "Oh no, we're not done yet." We see that the pink tower actually knocks over Redstone Tower and the blue, skyscraper, the blue building. We'll just call it the semi-truck sky knife. Since it because let's say the strong lung says it looks like a knife, or we'll call it the sky sword. Yeah, strong lung. Yeah. And there's actually supposed to be like an Eiffel Tower type structure. We'll call it the semi-truck sky tree, which isn't let's say it's actually or let's say it's actually red and white, or I wouldn't say it's red and white. Let's say that the sky tree is actually the green one, the green tower, which let's say that one gets knocked over too once the pink one falls on it. It's like the blue one and red one falls as well. There's enough pressure to knock over the purple one, and the dark, the purplish bluish one, which is the indigo one. They call it the indigo one. And we also see the light blue tower fall too, and it falls it also falls. It actually it barely falls. And let's say that only the two towers falls. Let's just say that the other two, like Susie and he runs to the left, but Marta and Snick defends themselves, but then Marta and Snick, let's say Marta and Snick and Kersey, or let's say maybe Susie rather than Kersey, they grab the two other. They grab one tower, knocks over one tower, and then Tress and Silver and Susan grabs the light blue one, tries to knock it onto Fango. It ends up hitting the green one, and they destroyed all the important skyscrapers. Let's say the green one's called the semi-truck Sky Tree. I know it should be, or maybe we could save that for a different. Let's say the Sky Tree is actually a teal structure, or maybe let's say it's brown like the Eiffel Tower, or maybe let's say it's like, or let's just say it's red and white like Tokyo Tower. It's just, let's say they destroy that as well, but it's on the coast. And that's when we see the green tower knock over. That's when we see them knock over the Eiffel Tower type structure. And they go and it goes, there's a huge, causes a big earthquake. It shakes the ground, and we see just how much damage they cause. And then Fango rushes to the oil refinery. There's probably dude, there's 9, I wouldn't say 9. Make that more, because I think there's actually, wait a second, I think there's actually 11 Krakens, because I can tell, because I can see 3, but I see 9 on the right, and there's 2 more in front of Fang, and the other 2, Cruella and Kersey, and yeah, now that's 11 Krakens. And he had to grab 11 sphere storage tanks, and then that's when he grabs 11 of them. He says, well, first he sees them, and then he grabs them. Yeah. So yeah, and Fango's he's not done yet. He's still, yeah. Well, first he sees the storage tank. Says, it's time. He says, I hope that must be one way to defeat them. Well, let's say first he tries his laser eye when he grabs them, but doesn't hurt them. They all surround. And then that's when they try to explode him with the oil refinery. But Fango, or let's say they try to explode him by, they all have an energy beam, but we see that Fango grabs a force field shield. Then we see the citizens, we see Fango's he says, watch out guys, and then we see them hold each other's hand, and then we see this energy beam come out of their mouth. They go Fango says, and that's when he gets a force field shield, and they go not so fast! It's really big, it's like a force field, and it just hits it. And then it hits the force field shield, and he's kind of pushing, he's but all it's, he says, you can't defeat me! And then Fango uses his laser eye and goes right across each one's face. Which causes all of them to stop beaming, shooting their beam at them. And then Fango, jumps, right over them. And then they don't realize where Fango is. They lost him, and then when he lands behind them, he's ugh! Huh? And then they turn around, and they go huh? And then Fango grabs the storage tanks, and then he grabs 11, he grabs each one. Let's say there was actually 20 storage tanks, but he only grabs 11 of them, and then he grabs each one and then throws it at them. It's and, the first one hits Tress, the second one hits Kersey, the fourth one hits, the third one hits Snick, the fourth one hits Marta, and the fifth one hits Susan, the sixth one hits Cruella, the seventh one hits Susie, the eighth one hits Riley, the ninth one hits Sock, the 10th one hits let's see, the 10th one hits Silver, and last but not least, the last one, the 11th one, aka the last one, hits Nympha, the master. She says, you will pay for this. But before she tries to attack them, he says, not so fast, girl. He says, or she doesn't say. she's like doing like a "you will pay for this" type action, but Fango says, "Take this," he says, and then it hits her, and then they all die. He actually hits her in the hits her in the chest, and the Krakens cannot handle that. And that's the only impact they couldn't handle. Or I wouldn't say the only impact. And they go like, ugh! But before they die, we see they're just dying. We see that Sock tries to cry one last time. But he dies, and then we see all the other Krakens die. Including Nympha, who tries to attack Fango. People says, "Boy, this guy's a hero!" And then everybody cheers for him. Like, yo! Let's have some fun! Let's cheer for for Fango! Sorry, I said Rango. It's Fango, not Rango. Not that, this is Fango. It's an F, not an R. So yeah, Fango, they say, "Let's cheer for Fango!" And everybody cheers for him after he defeats the Krakens. So yeah, he says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for praising me." and then he leaves, and everybody's still cheering at him even after he leaves. Oh man. Hold on, since I should have mentioned the bridge being destroyed, let's say let's say that the military destroys them, and right before Fango shows up, like right before, we see like all the destruction they're causing. Hold on.
Oh, keep your hands out your
No, this is my podcast, remember? Sorry about that. So yeah, Fango, So yeah, let's say that before he shows up, we see the chaos they're causing. Let's say that let's say that Susie destroys let's say that, Riley destroys the bridge of Semi-Truck City, the suspension bridge. I should have mentioned that part. But yeah, we see them destroy quite a few stuff, and then we see Fango rush into them. That's when he realizes that, and that's before we see Sock getting ready to hurt the kids. That Fango saves them. And then that's when Fango... But yeah, I should have mentioned that part, but yeah, we will soon. So yeah. But hey, I'll never forget. Yeah. So yeah, don't worry. I'll put the time when I forgot that one part. But hey, this episode, we're not done yet. First we see Fango going home, and then we cut to him back at his house, and that's when we see it in sunset, but then he gets his reward for defeating the Krakens. And then he's saying, "Woo! I did it, man! I did it! I did it!" It's like, dang. He says, "Yes, Fango, you certainly did." And then the episode ends.